How's it going, everyone? Hope we're all good. Yes, I thought I'd do this quick video because the reason I'm quite new into comedy, and when I wanted to start learning about comedy, I thought, you know what, I'll do what everyone does. I'll jump online, try and do some research, and I found there wasn't much advice out there. Advice for new comedians, and sort of like the process. So I thought to myself, you know what? I've now doing the pods where I interview comedians, interview a new comedian every single day from across the world. Some, people who've just started out to people who have been killing the scene now for over 25, 30 years. So I thought to myself, you know what? I've interviewed about 125 people. I always, at the end of every single episode, I ask them, if you give me some advice for a new comedian, what would it be? Taking a reflection of what they've said over all the episodes, I thought I'd compile my top 10 best bits of advice for new comedians starting out. So yeah, here we go. Right, my 10th one is when you think about starting comedy, just start writing. Just start, get yourself a little book or use your phone, and any idea that comes to your head that you think potentially could be funny, just write it down. You haven't got to write down an absolute essay, but just write down enough that you'll remember it. I always stand by. I think everyone is funny. The only difference is that the comedians will write it down and remember it. How many times do you thought of something funny in your life and you haven't written it down and just instantly forget? So every single comedian has a different joke writing process. But I'd say to start off, just write down every time you think something's funny. Carry a little book with you. Write it down, and yeah, see if start getting material from that. This one I like because when you first start in comedy, you've got to find out, where to get gigs, all that. Facebook is still probably the best place to find your local gigs to get on. But the problem is sometimes they can be booked absolute months in advance because there's a lot of comedians out there. It's a very saturated game. So, I'd advise, don't just book one and wait for it to happen. Sort of book like three or four, sort of book them in blocks. And that way, you're not just doing it yourself once and be like, oh, that was nice, get a false expectation or a false reality or a false negative. Book a couple of them, try out a couple to give yourself a true self evaluation of it. Find your funny. So, there's different types of comedians out there: observationalists, storytellers, one-liners, characters, alternative. And it will take you a while to realize, what type of comedian you like to be, and it will change a million times over. Like think to yourself, what do you find funny yourself? If you like not jokes, if you like dad jokes, absolutely fine. If you like being more edgy, absolutely fine. If you like being political, absolutely fine. Find your funny, and always be true to yourself. I know this one's going to be a bit conflicted because some places it's harder to get than others. Sometimes you can only get on stage maybe once a month. Sometimes maybe once or twice a week. I know there's a lot of comedians when they start out they can do three, four times a night, but everyone has different lanes. But just like going to the gym, stage time is everything. You need to get up there, you need to get in front of people, you need to try your new material, get out there, network, meet people. It's important to get on the stage as much as possible. Right, at number six, we have the journey. Now, there's no sort of set place where you should be at what certain time. So, you shouldn't say, right, I need to be, you can set yourself targets by all means, but you shouldn't say, right, the market goal is at one gig, I'm here, 10 gigs, I'm here, 50, I'm here, 100 are here, 500, etc., etc., etc. Everyone's on their own journey. It doesn't matter how long it takes you or what that. And also, bear in mind, what do you want out of comedy? Do you want to go up and be a world famous comedian, sell out arenas, all that? I think it's like equivalent of saying you want to be an actor or a footballer. But realistically, it's not. It's not going to happen. So do it for the love of the game more than the accolades that can come with it. Find out what you want from comedy first. Right, before I started comedy, I was always into two camps about this one. Because you can't teach funny. You're either funny or you're not funny. Um, Look, to an element, I'd agree with that. But I think everyone can be taught the process of a joke and the joke writing skills. Power of three, misdirections. You can learn this stuff, and courses and classes can be good for that. But I will challenge once again. I'll probably get a bit of hate for this one. Find the right course and class for you if you want to do them. I'll always say go to a workshop. 1,000,000% go to a workshop with a course and class. Make sure it's right for you and not right for the class to make money. Heavily advise that. So if you ever want any recommendations or any advice on a class, look, please always, and I say this on any comedian out there, always just reach out to me, dude, and I'll try and give advice. And if I can't give advice, I'll send you down the way to try and find someone else who can, okay? Right, find your people. Just like a soldier can be friends with a soldier for about 6 months, 2 years, and they are brothers in arms for life. It is the same in comedy. You are in the trenches. People will see, you do well. People will see you absolutely die on your ass on stage. It's so important to have your community, have your people who want the best for you. I mean, listen, like I always say, 92% of the other comedians I meet are absolutely fantastic, lovely, want the best for you. But that is not the case. Some promoters can be sleazy. Some comedians can be jealous. So find your people, find out who wants the best for you, and stick with them. Okay, through thick and thin, because they know what you're going through, because they're going through the same journey. Find the people who, when you tell them good news, they are happy for you and not jealous. Okay, find your people, and I cannot. This should be higher up. In fact, find your people. Find the people who care, who want. Okay, yeah, I cannot stress this one enough, guys. And you do that, you get out there, you start networking, you meet your people because every most people are lovely. Okay, find your people. Don't know why, but this one took 10 bloody takes. I kept stuttering on it. Do not know why. So let's try this one out then. Get some books. Okay, if you like to read or Audible, if you're a lazy bastard like me, get some books about comedy. Now, I cannot stress this one enough. I would always recommend Finding Your Comic Genius by Adam Bloom. Got it there. Okay, this is pretty much, the Bible. Okay, this is the Quran to people. Okay, this guy knows his stuff. Okay, and not everything of it will be applicable, but it'll get you to think on the world of comedy. I just cannot stress enough. This book is absolutely fucking mint. And yeah, do that. As well as that, watch the podcast. Look, I know plugging my show within my show. Amazing. I sit down every single day, new episode, and I interview comedians who are currently going through the journey. Like it'd be amazing. You can sit there and talk to the comedians who, to set up the theatres and stuff. We all want that. But, if I was at war, I wouldn't want to hear from the general of what war's like. I would want to hear from the soldiers. I'd want to know what they're going through day in, day out. And I interview comedians every single day who are going through that journey. So, find a topic, find an area, pick a comedian, and yeah, listen to their lives, listen to the journeys they are doing, and pick up on the advice that they can give, not just the times it went well, but more importantly, listen to the times they went on stage and they bombed. Because it happens to everyone. Everyone's gonna. But I've done 4 gigs this week. I smashed 2 of them. One went okay, and I bombed one. Okay, but I'm still learning. But I bombed. Every single person out there bombed. And if a comedian tells you they haven't bombed, they are a liar. Right, this one's quite self-explanatory, but lifelong lesson. Right, I had to stick this one in. If any of you watch the podcast, you'll know that the last question I asked to every single comedian is, "What advice would you give to a new comedian?" And you can't say, "Just do it." reason for that is because it's the most truest and only bit of advice you can give to someone contemplating to do comedy. And I'm gonna say it, just do it. Just get on stage and do it. Okay? You'll never know the thrill if you do it. If you never do it, sorry, just do it. And if you're worried about going up there and bombing, no one cares. Honestly, nobody cares. Yeah, you might feel like a wally, but no one cares. You've forgotten about. If you have a great set, if you have an appalling set, it doesn't matter. No one truly cares. Just go up and just do it. Okay? And so they are my 10 tips for people who are looking to get into stand up. Some are tangible, some are more emotional, take with you. Like, look, I'm not a guru on it. I don't know everything. I mean, anyone else, look, please leave it in the comments. Anything you could recommend to help other comedians, any advice, we're all on this journey together, would be appreciated. And also, if you could like and subscribe, it means the absolute world to me. We're a growing podcast. We've been going for what? 100 odd ish days now. It would just be in the world. Please subscribe, please like, and yeah, see you on the next episodes. All right, much love, people. Cheers.